you know what that kind of policy has led to? It's led to the war-torn type of country that Colombia is. It's so bad that people are leaving in mass numbers, and the Colombians don't even have the ability to take them back. They refuse to. So Colombia, and here's the fundamental difference in worldview of the left. Like I said, if you go on Reddit, you'll still believe that Colombia actually put their foot down.
Yeah.
You see, Donald, a lot of these tariffs aren't going to happen. Are you guys starting to understand that? These are negotiating tools, and they work. There is a very different approach. There's a different approach. They were talking about it on CNN today because Donald Trump has the mandate of the masses, especially as it relates to immigration. And obviously this ties into it. And he's emboldened. And I think he realizes he only has so much time. Mm-hmm. And so he can do more with one phone call or one Truth Social post than all of the sanctions and the diplomatic meetings. It's no, we're not doing that. We're not playing this. And thank God, for the first time, if nothing else in our lifetime, someone leading the United States is using the leverage that we have on behalf of the American people. So ICE raids, the deportations, right, they ramped up all over the country this weekend. Mm-hmm. And here's actually, well, to talk about that before we get to Colombia, here's a montage regarding that, starting with a lady who's really mad at the tip of her own nose.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement reported nearly 1,000 arrests yesterday. The Drug Enforcement Agency says agents arrested nearly 50 undocumented migrants during a raid yesterday near Denver, Colorado.
Raid rumors. Social media posts are claiming several ICE raids have taken place in New Mexico.
Community members say immigration officers arrested several people from across metro Atlanta yesterday.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers have started carrying out targeted raids in Chicago on people marked for deportation.
Stop. You're making me as hard as a whale's tooth. Now, so they conducted raids, the feds in LA, Chicago, Atlanta, Austin, Denver.
Yeah.
A good start. But the biggest controversy, of course, was surrounding the United States military deporting people and flights going to Colombia. So let me give this to you in a timeline so that you aren't as uninformed as the left and you know exactly how it started and how everything kind of ended up shaking out. So on January 26th at 2:41 a.m., okay, Colombian President Gustavo Petro said he was going to deny the deportation flight. So basically flights really were saying, hey, we're sending these people back. We're sending them back to Colombia. And the president over there said, no, we're not going to accept. First off, a couple of questions. Number one, how crappy, you don't get the moral high ground.
Yeah.
No one else in the world has the moral high ground when either your country is so crappy that people are fleeing and don't want to be there, or number two, these people now are so crappy that your country doesn't want them back. Pick one. Either way, you're an asshole. Gustavo Petro.
That's foreshadowing.
We're not gonna take them. Really? How? Well then, so hold on a second. You won't take them, but you're going to talk down to us. You have the moral high ground because we're not. But you won't take them, and your country sucks so much they left. Just think of, and people like Biden would appease these folks. So he said we're not going to take them. Okay, and I remember thinking at that point in time, all right, well, what are we going to do if these flights are going and now they can't land? And then I thought, we have a multi-trillion-dollar deficit. I'm pretty sure the United States could spring for a few parachutes.
Jump from the sky, I hope it's not too high. Got a lot more to deport to Venezuela or Guyana. Hop out and say sayonara.
Jet flying. You gotta go back.
It's a great idea. We don't need to land.
We don't need John Leguizamo.
Maybe cheaper.
Boy, I really shouldn't have stopped doing stand-up. They're not flying me first class.
Bye, John.
I've never written a joke in your life.
He's a joke.
Okay. So that happened. They said, we're not taking them. Mm-hmm. Then Donald Trump announced a series of punishing actions against Colombia, including raising a 25% tariff to 50%, including revoking visas for government officials and a bunch of other financial sanctions. He posted this photo also to Truth Social, which is great. Look at that. For those who don't know what FAFO means, it means the first word is a bad word. It's a not nice word. F around and find out. I think you can guess. Not Foster.
Can't believe he posted that.
The Dawn.
Then, after this, at 3:15 p.m., President Petro issued a long-winded statement and said he was going to issue retaliatory tariffs. Now, if you follow leftist websites or go on Reddit politics, you'll think this is where it ended. It still is up there as a top post. Right now, go check. Where he said they were going to put 25% as a tariff on all United States imports. Okay, looks like they have a backbone, right?
Yeah.
It's not working. Except then at 9:20 p.m., Petro backed down and acquiesced on every single one of Donald Trump's demands. He's like, yeah, we're going to put on tariffs. Okay, I was just, let's let cooler heads prevail.
On second thought, maybe.
Come on. It's not,
Lo siento.
I was cooked up.
You know how it is.
A statement from the White House press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, friend of the show, said, today's events make clear to the world that America will be respected again. President Trump will continue to fiercely protect our nation's sovereignty, and he expects all other nations of the world to fully cooperate in accepting the deportation of their citizens illegally present in the United States. This all went on for about 19 hours and 40 minutes. Keep that in mind. It's, hey, we're deporting these people. We're not going to take them. We're going to punish you. Oh, really? We're going to punish you. Just kidding. We'll take them and we won't punish you at all. Please stop. 19 hours.
Yes, but if people like AOC were in charge, she took to X immediately and was like, I can't believe the price of coffee is about to go up. I'm like, seriously? You're telling me the price of coffee is about to go up and I can either secure our cities and our border or pay a little bit more for coffee?
Yeah.
I would take that deal every single day.
My coffee's Bolivian grown.
Anna Navarro, whatever her name is, she said, oh, now most of our flowers come. I think Valentine's Day is going to be a bad day. I'm kind of paraphrasing her.
No, they
Roses,
come from
whatever.
Ecuador.
And I was like, no, shut up. By the way, it's a good opportunity for local growers. They did some research. Coffee may have gone up. At worst, 17 cents. 17 cents for your coffee. Pay that to have a secure country where people aren't being murdered by some of these gangs in Colorado and other places. Deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Done.
Also, these ladies have been getting flowers for way too long.
Yes.
I think we got to stop it.
Yes.
Yes.
Big Flower has lived high on the hog for long enough.
Give her a nice handshake.
Yes. Yes. Big Handshake will be its most fitting successor.
And maybe a chocolate.
Also, by the way, you can get some merchandise, border merchandise at CrowderShop.com, including Mass Deport Illegals. It's a fun shirt. Build the Wall, Change My Mind. Yeah, you have it right there.
This is a JD Vance shirt.
That's a lot of fun.
Out there doing a great job.
This happened, but I wanted to give you a jumping off point because a lot of you don't know who this man is here in Colombia, President Petro. So he wrote this whole diatribe on X, and we're going to go through it in a Claim Truth and then a segment specifically on why this man being angry with America is a good thing. Let me ask you this. If Stalin criticized the United States, would you go, okay, hey, maybe we are so on opposite ends of the spectrum, that's a good thing. Or Castro, or the Communist Chinese Party. If they don't like what you're doing and their justification is because something evil capitalism, we go, oh, okay, we get it, you're communist. We understand. Yeah, difference of opinion. We hope you don't like what we're doing because we specifically don't do it because we don't want to be like you. A lot of people here don't know because they get white guilted into thinking that President Petro must be a decent guy.
Right.
He's not. He's awful and he's a moron. So let me read you his pinned X post. It says, Trump, I really don't like traveling to the U.S. It's a bit boring, but I confess that there are some commendable things. I like going to the black neighborhoods of Washington, where I saw an entire fight on the U.S. Capitol between blacks, Latinos with barricades, which seemed like nonsense to me because they should join together. Hey, why don't you let the United States care about our own race relations, okay? And we'll get to the Claim Truth as far as I get the implication, crime. We'll get to Colombia.
He should have gone to Maine.
Yes, exactly. I do not like New Hampshire because it is too cold and my cocaine freezes.
In my nose.
He said, I confess that I like Walt Whitman and Paul Simon and Noam Chomsky.
What?
Okay, starting to get the picture. So if you know someone who is stubborn, that's me, period. You can try to carry out a coup with your economic strength and your arrogance, like they did with Allende. For people who don't know, socialist, Marxist man who was in charge of Chile and paved the way for some people argue, dictator, Pinochet, who turned it into the Great Chilean Experiment, which was economically prosperous beyond what anyone dreamed Chile could do. But this guy likes Allende. Let's be clear. We'll go back to it. But I will die in my law. I resisted torture, and I resist you. We'll get to the people you tortured in a second. Our people are somewhat fearful, somewhat timid. They are naive and kind, loving, like Pablo Escobar. But they will know how to win the Panama Canal, which you took from us with violence. Not true. I don't like your oil, Trump. You're going to wipe out the human species because of greed. Don't let it be lost on you that this man has Petro in the name.
The guy whose last name is Gas doesn't like gas.
Yes.
That reminds me of that other world leader who's anti-gun. His name is Eugenio Bullets.
Yes. Oh, Senor Bullets.
Yes.
Yes.
Hates guns.
It is bullet.
Muy malo, he says.
He has been ordained by God with his last name to message the rhetoric of anti-gun. Like me, with oil. I mean, I use a lot of it, but I don't like it.
I hate it.
Yeah. By the way, you're going to be where? Spokane? 7th?
Spokane Comedy Club, February 7th and 8th.
Yeah.
People go see.
Do it.
Josh.
Spokane, it's in Washington, not the other Washington where the blacks and Latinos are fighting.
Right, yes, exactly.
With barricades.
Pay-per-view free for Mr.
He went on to say, maybe one day, I'm shortening this, by the way. Maybe one day over a glass of whiskey, which I accept, despite my gastritis.
Why would you include that?
We can talk frankly about this.
Take a Tums, dude.
Because it's difficult. Because you consider me an inferior race. And I'm not, nor is any Colombian. I am informed that you impose a 50% tariff on the fruits of our human labor to enter the United States. And I do the same. Let our people plant corn that was discovered in Colombia and feed the world. Well, first off, none of that is true. And we'll get to a claimed truth here, and I'll give you all of the references. But let's assume that it would be. Even with tariffs on our flowers from Colombia, Valentine's Day would look just fine. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because we have the corn.
Yeah, we have plenty of corn.
We send it there, actually.
Yeah, it's actually on
It's a big product.
the Welcome to Indiana sign. It's
corn.
But then it also says Indiana more than just corn.
Yes.
But you put the corn on the sign.
But mostly corn.
Yeah, but it's more than just that.
No.
But here's some corn. Which brings us to this week's installment of Claim Truth. So we'll go through some. So
Colombia more than oil, and it's just oil rigs.
Also, we didn't prepare this one, but no, Colombia did not invent corn. Just to be clear, there was an agreement. So there you go. That's the.
They also invented flight.
Yes, exactly.
Ah, okay, got it.
Yes, yes. We learned it by watching Turkish and said we will do the opposite. So here's the claim that he made in here, President Petro. Colombia doesn't. I do not like your American oil. All right. Here's the truth. America is Colombia's largest petroleum trade partner. Okay. Colombia's largest import is refined petroleum. America, I don't like your oil, even though 84% of all Colombia's refined petroleum imports come from your country.
Well, he thinks he can say this because he just admitted his people are naive. You think everyone else is naive?
Yes.
He doesn't have to like it.
Well, it gets worse than that because notwithstanding that Colombia's largest export is also crude petroleum. It's our biggest import and export, but I don't like it.
I hate it.
38% of all of our crude petroleum goes exclusively to America. But I am an environmentalist, you see. But I need monies.
To be an environmentalist.
And we are their largest trade partner, just to be clear. And Colombia, by the way, receives somewhere around $740 million in direct financial aid from the United States because we are the world's biggest charity, while this guy acts like he can take the moral high ground.
Well, receives should be changed to received.
Yes.
Past tense.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's like a dude bragging about how good of a dad he is when he stays at home and gets child support from the mom.
Yes. I will provide.
You're not that badass, dude.
No,
I will protect and I will provide for this family by borrowing from your mother. Can I have? Do you have a $5?
Lucy, I need more money.
I need more money. I would boom zoom to the moon, but I have no leverage. No. I know, honeymooners, but whatever. Who cares? So this is what they do, and the left looks at them and goes, oh, wow, isn't it great to be like, I'm so worldly. None of these countries have ever gotten it right. How about now we stop importing from Colombia, because we can probably get most of this from the United States if we open up our own energy reserves, and Colombia, you get nothing. Let's be clear about this, President Petro. Let's go through another claim. I know that you believe Colombians are an inferior race. Truth. What? This is just more virtue signaling. It's not based on anything. We don't think of Colombia. By the way, most Americans, I bet, comment below, most Americans think of Colombian women as quite hot. I don't know about you, but when I first discovered, I first discovered Shakira, I was like, what? We've been talking about Britney and Christina. This has been around this whole time? More of that.
Yes, more, please.
Yes.
Left or whatever it is.
More.
Look at the butt on that.
Also,
that was a direct quote from Gerald.
And I know what you're going to say.
Really?
Shakir's not a good person because she's up to something like $1 billion in tax evasion. You're making me like her more. Of all the crimes that could make me think less of somebody, like the least significant, tax evasion would be crimes 1 through 10. It's pillow talk.
How do you
for
know
me?
$1 billion? She was so successful.
She's also guilty of full shirt evasion.
Yes, she is.
Which I'm not against. 'Cause I'm a sick man.
I do not like to wear the full shirts because then I cannot tie my pants. Any excuse will work, Shakira.
I didn't know Colombian was a race.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Nationality.
Here's another claim that he makes.
You speak Spanish.
Where he talked about just like the United States did against Allende. We'll get into Allende a little bit. He says that the United States led a coup against Allende in Chile. Here's the truth. Yeah. But Allende was a complete self-avowed Marxist financed by Cuba and the USSR, to be clear. The poverty rate during Allende was between 40 and 50%. And by the way, Allende was, I know people like to say, oh, socialist. No, he was a totalitarian who silenced, harassed the press. He nationalized industries like mining and agriculture. And by the way, he also did that, tried to nationalize a lot of those industries when American companies owned them. So we kind of had to do something about it. He decided to formalize relations with communist China and Cuba. And he was so bad, as a matter of fact, in Chile, the guy who this person admires, which we'll explain a little bit more, Allende was so bad in Chile that he paved the way for this guy. Pinochet wasn't all wrong. Changed my mind.
You know it's a dictator when their uniform is gray.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. Gray or black.
Here's another claim that he makes in his stupid little screed, that America took the Panama Canal with violence.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because violence, it's so foreign to Colombia. Here's the truth. Yes, and let me give you some history on the Panama Canal, okay? 1903. This is when the Colombian Senate rejected a treaty that would have given the United States rights to land around, at this point, the proposed canal. You had Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, better Roosevelt, helped Colombia's, their northern provinces. They were helped by the United States to succeed and create Panama, okay, to be clear. We sent warships to prevent Colombian troops from landing there. The United States financed the entire construction of the Panama Canal. In 1904, $500 million was the equivalent to $15.2 billion today.
Wow.
And so if the United States has invested, created, and financed, you can bet your ass that they're going to try and protect it from some guerrilla conscripts. Hey, why didn't you guys build it? Oh, that's right. For the same reason that people are fleeing your country and you can't take them back. I'm sorry, not all cultures are equal. Colombia, I get it. You got some drugs, good-looking women. What else you got? The answer is nothing. Next claim that he makes when talking about Washington seeing some Latinos and blacks fight because your crime is out of control, that the United States is a dangerous place. Here's the truth. Colombia has the third highest murder rate in South America behind Ecuador and Venezuela, to be clear. The murder rate in Colombia is 25.3 per 100,000, quite a bit more than the United States' 6.3. That's almost 20 more.
Was that why he was upset about the fight in Washington, D.C., because nobody died?
Yes, exactly. Wasting time.
They need to be murdering each other.
Yes, that's right.
They're only fighting.
I watched them fight, but they should be uniting in stabbing the Asians. In Colombia, we fight like men. We use blades. It is our mortality rate is through the roof. But I will present myself as a sympathetic communist.
If Dems are in charge right now, they folded at the slightest pushback.
Well, they wouldn't even sent these people back in the first place.
No, they wouldn't. You're right, Josh. They wouldn't have even gotten down this path, but they folded the minute somebody said, no, we don't want to take them. Oh, we have to because they'll do something to us. What we can do to them is far worse.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we should even have to. By the way, this is a plane load of your stuff. We found your stuff in America and we're sending it back to you.
Yeah.
That's not a huge ask.
Right.
Can you imagine that backwards? Like if a plane full of Americans is coming back and Trump was like, no.
Right.
Absolutely not. American, these ones are no.
We don't want them.
Right now, President Petro's like, that's a good idea. Can we find any Americans who want to be in Colombia? No. Son of a bitch.
It just doesn't make any sense to me, but I'll go back to AOC. The AOCs of the world, and I'm so glad they're not in charge of negotiations. This is how the United States gets taken advantage of. The first sign of pushback and the weeping and gnashing of teeth starts happening.
Yeah.
And they fold. They cave instantly. And this is some of our posts here, right? They're saying, we're going to have to pay the tariffs, the citizens of this country, not looking at the bigger issue that you're trying to solve.
Right.
And ultimately hurting the people way, way more. Donald Trump comes in and says, okay, you want to put a tariff on me? Fine. We have other levers that we can pull. How far down this road would you like to go? Last I checked, dictators needed money. Right. To make sure that they stayed in power. I'm going to start messing with your money. How long do you think until your top general starts getting a little greedy?
Right.
I'm betting it's a week.
Yep.
That's the kind of negotiation he does, and he wins. He's not going to win every single time, so I don't hold him to that standard, but he is knocking people over left and right now, and I love every second of it. That's what we should do.
Yeah, Joe.
All these leftists yesterday, I mean, within that span of what, I mean, you said 19 hours total, but I mean, the span of it, the discussion was probably 6 hours.
Right.
And people just losing their minds. Coffee's going to cost so much money. Well, you didn't care when coffee's going to cost more money when Starbucks employees were unionizing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You didn't care how much more.
Why didn't you care then, but now you care?
Yeah. Well, not only did the cost of coffee go up, more than double, but so did everything under the Biden administration. Coffee probably went up more because of the energy costs under Biden than they would from a direct tariff on Colombia. That's why we've talked about this. The net gain, it'll be a net positive, even if some countries don't play ball and these tariffs are implemented, because the leverage has been used with enough other trading partners that they have to get in line. And it comes down to, what approach do you believe is morally right? I am telling you this, and we have a lot of non-denominational, namby-pamby Christians that's like, well, actually, no, we want to be compassionate. What is compassionate about continuing to engage in trade with basically, communist guerrilla militiamen across with no consequences? And you know what's happened? You know what that kind of policy has led to? It's led to the war-torn type of country that Colombia is. It's so bad that people are leaving in mass numbers, and the Colombians don't even have the ability to take them back. They refuse to. That's what it's led to. Let's try a different approach. I think that's more compassionate. If you have a child that you don't discipline, and yes, in this analogy, Colombia is America's child, the problem child, just to be clear.
Adopted.
But the middle child, you don't get that much attention, right? How rude, that kind of deal. But the issue here is, if you have a child who is a problem and is actually hitting kids in class, running out into the street where you could get hit by a car, and you haven't disciplined them, is it compassionate to never discipline them? Because then they become a criminal. And they hurt other people. Yeah. No, the compassionate thing to do is to start disciplining them as harshly as necessary in order to improve their life, to improve their outcome, or at least the possibility of. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. I see you're still watching. You've fallen right into my trap to continue watching. And if you click this video, if you like this, there's probably more like-minded content right there. You can click, or just tune in live weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. Or is that just what I want you to? Is that what I want you to think?